This game kind of goes without saying. As just over at Snider talking to Coach Tippmann, he said, this is what high school football is all about. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, this is why, the guys play here. They play here for the big games. And from now on, they're all big.
Absolutely, and it doesn't get any bigger than Friday night for you guys. We're not going to look ahead to next week. You can't do that. So Friday night, what poses the biggest problem, I guess, Snider? What do they pose a problem for you guys?
They don't have many weaknesses. They do everything very well. Their offense is scary because their speed. To run the ball, they'll spread you out pretty well. They throw the ball very well. Akeem Kelsaw is a tremendous receiver. So the offense is a concern, and that's where we like to start when we evaluate our opposition. Is what if anything can we do to stop them? And then we look at the kicking game, and Snider is back on top of their kicking game. They have an excellent punter, excellent kicker. Their coverage is very good, and their returns are very, very dangerous. So, if you're not at your very best at kicking game, you could lose that aspect very quickly against them and play bad field position or momentum or a lot of bad things. And then they always have the defense. Their defense is that 4-4 that always gives people problems, and they have a lot of speed there, and they hit well and run well, and they're just a very solid team.
For the first time in your tenure, you guys are coming into this having not played last week. What was it like to have a bye week?
It is different. I don't think I'd want to go through it again. It was nice to have a little bit of extra time here and there, but you miss the competition, and sitting someplace else watching somebody play on Friday wasn't a whole lot of fun.
So you think the guys are itching to get back out there?
They appear to be pretty hungry. Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Your team, I guess, if it's possible, you guys have just quietly kind of rolled through the year. Do you prefer it that way?
Well, we don't have any control over our schedule, and all we have control over is us. So, today, if you ask them what's the most important practice of the year, hopefully they'd all say today. And you'd ask them what's the most important game of the year, and hopefully they'd all say this one, because that's what we talk about all the time. This is the only day you have any control over. You can't bring back yesterday, and you can't worry about tomorrow. And the same thing about this game. And so, everything that's said and done about, what we're doing, what everybody else is doing, is really nothing that we can control, so we just kind of do what we can do.
Is your team confident? Is that safe to say at this point?
I think you have to have some confidence in what you're doing. If not, I don't think you can have any success at all. Overconfident, I hope certainly not. Because we know exactly what we're facing here, what we're up against. There's a lot of unknowns out there. How are we going to stand up to them, and how are we going to execute ourselves? So I hope right now it's just right. It's with confidence in what we can do as a team, but not to the point where we're overlooking anything.
How do you, week after week, get your team ready to face what you're assuming is the other team's best game every single week?
What we try to focus on is ourselves and some short-term goals that we put up every week. I think everybody has goals charts, and so do we, and we break it down into 3 phases of the game. Defense first. We have a long series of goals that we want to achieve. How many yards rushing we want to hold a team to, how many yards passing. And in the kicking game, there's still a lot of things in the kicking game. If you look at our goals charts in the office in there, there's some things we haven't achieved yet at all. We haven't returned kicks for touchdowns like we have in the past, certain things like that. Offense, a goal that we always shoot for is no sacks and no penalties, and we haven't done the no penalties yet. And we gave up a sack for the first time in the last game. So I think those things keep us focused more than anything else. And I think after the game, the brutality of the film sessions with the players, and the high expectations, it keeps people pretty humble.